Whew. Absolutely amazing, some of the things that are going on in the past week plus. And if you think I'm talking about Israel, I'm not. Before getting to that, I wanted to show you a couple things everybody's been asking me, actually for several live streams, but last night, was it last night or was it on Sunday? I think it was last night. Everybody was asking me about stoves. I've been using these for decades. Believe it or not, I used to be in shape and do a lot of backpacking. These are the same stoves that are used by people that climb Mount Everest, but they're incredibly useful. On the International, I'll show you here, they all fold up like origami too. It'll take white gas, unleaded regular gasoline, kerosene, diesel fuel, and jet fuel. This one is called the International. I could actually close my eyes and take this thing 100% apart with my eyes closed in less than 10 seconds. You can actually see the legs come over like this. I've actually got 4 of these stoves, believe it or not. I'd find used ones at garage sales decades ago, and they're so easy. They're so reliable. You could essentially, now I brought one of the little canisters out here. It comes, you can actually get 4 different size canisters. This is the smallest. This is the valve that's actually earmarked for the DRAGONFLY stove over here that actually has a simmer mode. I actually only ever use white gas, regular unleaded gasoline. It'd clog it up a little too quickly, but the filter comes out right here. I got the little feed tube that you're going to have to wiggle in there, and you actually pump it up and connect your stove to this. I think you give it 12 pumps, as I recall, and fill it up. But look how simple this is. The bottom unscrews. It actually has a little shaker needle. I don't know if you could hear it. That's actually cleaning out the nozzle. It's got 2 different nozzle tips with different hole diameters depending on the fuel you use. There's DJ1 and DK1. That's for kerosene, diesel, and jet fuel. I've only ever used the DG1 for white gas. White gas, you're probably more familiar with it being called naphtha. I call it white gas, and that's actually what it says. Stove fuel. If things get hairy, and you need to cook. These are really ingenious. They're all handmade and hand soldered in the United States. I have, by the way, for both of these stoves, this is the International. It means it'll use anything. It actually comes with a fold-up aluminum wind barrier so that the wind doesn't whip in, and put the flame out in a little carrying pouch, but I didn't bring those out here. But I have where in the pinned comment in the description below that you can actually get these. This one is 132. It'll last forever, and the repair kit, which you basically never need to use, is like $20 for completely rebuilding it. Like I said, you could rebuild it with your eyes closed. Then I do mean that literally, not that I'm recommending that. This one also too folds down. This is the little simmer mode control over here. There actually is a nozzle over here where you can actually control the feed of the white gas, for example, to the International. But it doesn't really operate as a simmer. It's kind of like super low or super high. You can still operate the fuel flow through this to the stove. This is my favorite, and this is kind of everybody's favorite. Like I said, the legs fold down like this. The whole stove turns over like this. Like I said, it folds up like origami. Look how simple this is. You can actually flip it over and clean out the jet. It also, too, has one of those shake valves. You could rebuild it in a matter of less than 5 minutes. But this is your little simmer control over here. So if you want to cook something slowly on top of it, like on a skillet, or, slow cook your soup, this is the DRAGONFLY. Like I said, I have the link below for this one as well. I had to talk about that. I've had more than a few people ask me about that. It's like, I've been using these for decades. I've got 4 of them. I think I actually might have 5. I've owned at least a half a dozen. A couple of them I let people borrow, and they must have loved them so much they never returned them to me. That was ages ago. There's some things that are going on that happened in Maui, and I like to get to it quick and talk about what's going on right now. And there's some really amazing things that are just mind-blowing. The biggest I'd like to talk about here in a second. By the way, this is the 3rd or the 4th time this has happened this year. Bank of America, a significant percentage of people logged in. They're calling it a glitch. It could have been a hack. We'll never know. It's showing a zero balance in their bank account. I'm sorry if you use Bank of America, but I can't even tell you enough to please, please, please reconsider that option. That's going on today. There have been a lot of reports out, and I noticed that, and I don't buy bulk TP or paper because of what's going on in the world. There have been runs at Costco. There's hundreds of reports that I've actually looked through on several different websites. People are laughing or crying or both that there are runs at Costco right now. People that have their head on a swivel can actually see what's going on. I got my property taxes in today, from my land and from my house. My house came in yesterday, and I got a total of like $1,760 for property taxes. That's relatively cheap compared to a lot of you. Still, it's a big burden on me, but I had to call about one bit of minutia to the PVA office, property value people, and the government. And I said I predicted this. I asked you a question, meaning her. I said I predicted this this year and last year, that people get more and more desperate, that when property taxes hit or regular taxes hit, people are going to be under some super significant stress, unlike years prior. And she said, yeah, people are calling in, and this is the PVA office. They didn't even set the property tax rate. I know property taxes are evil. People calling into her office, the PVA office, and yelling at her and giving her and her friends, colleagues, a piece of their mind. They're just, people are completely maxed out, and their property tax bills hit for most people here, at least in Kentucky, in October, November. They're all kind of hitting now. I mean, I got 3 property tax bills today alone. That's for pieces of land, but I got my house bill yesterday. I predicted that accurately. That's extremely sad, and I knew that would be happening. There's some things that are happening in Hawaii after the fire that are happening right now in Appalachia, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. I'd like to give you a couple stories, 3 stories actually, and it's really, really shocking in a absolutely mind-blowing sense of the term. By the way, people in Atlanta, I don't know if you know this, but there was pool chemicals, okay? It was southeast, I forget the name of the town, but it was like 10 miles as the bird flies southeast of Atlanta, Georgia. And the whole place, it looked like a critical mass of plutonium went off. I mean, it's just a huge cloud hovering in the air. There's lots of video of it. And it just completely, went lit and it shook the ground even. That was a few days ago. But they're warning people in Atlanta that the smoke, the prevailing winds are pushing that into Atlanta, and they're warning people, Atlanta's going to be smoky with, I don't know if you know how big Atlanta is, but it's absolutely titanic. That toxic smoke is going to be in Atlanta. Tell me what you think about that one. I don't know if you know this or not also, but to Ukraine, the United States government shipped all of our backup, well, nearly all, backup power stations and transformers. I don't know if you know how long it takes to make a transformer. Those big trash cans that sit up on the power line, they take a long, long, long time to make. And they have a shortage right now getting those to Appalachia and Georgia and Florida where those, got knocked out. These are 3 stories that sound too incredible to believe, but you can look up the names and verify it yourself. They enacted a no-fly zone over parts of Appalachia, western North Carolina, for rescue. We're not talking about, people like me or you, trying to head up there to help people, which is a noble thing itself. The guy's name's Jonathan Howard. It's the National Guard's Special Missions Unit. In other words, his job is special missions via helicopter for rescue. This sounds like the land grab issues in Lahaina. Remember after the fire in Hawaii? The volunteer firefighter, he rushed to help Hurricane Helene victims, and they've threatened him with arrest. His name is Jonathan Howard, and they wouldn't let him go in there and rescue people. Here's a video on X, and they've enacted a no-fly zone, even if they had the helicopters. People, I don't know if you're a European, you understand, but we're talking about hills and valleys that even with regular good roads are not easy to reach. And now that those have been destroyed, these are places that are hard to reach. So helicopters are the answer to save people's lives. The government, there are countless, this not anecdotal, when you got a lot of examples, this is not anecdotal. The government is not only not helping them, they're not stepping in, they're not letting people do their job in their own free time working for free, like Jonathan Howard. Here's another one, a volunteer firefighter, his name is Jordan Seedham. Volunteer firefighter rushed to rescue Hurricane Helene victims. They threatened him with arrest. He's a former cop and a volunteer firefighter. He has his own personal helicopter. And he's a rescue person, that I mentioned that, and a former cop, to reach these cut off from rescue. This is in Lake Lure, North Carolina. I hope the fire marshal there is fired. He said to the local people that were threatening to arrest him, he said, I wasn't going to go back up the mountain. He told me that the fire marshal people, he actually called for 2 cops to arrest this guy. He said, you're not going to go back up that mountain to rescue these people. You're going to have to leave them there. He pushed the man for a reason why he shouldn't go back up there to collect them. He said, you're interfering with my operations. Then the man, the little evil tyrant, told Sedum, he said, if you turn around to go back up that mountain to rescue people, you're going to be arrested. I said, well, sir, I'm going to go back up to get my co-pilot, which he left his son up there to gather some people to rescue them. He said, I don't know what to tell you. In other words, he's going back up there to get his son, also to the rescue co-pilot, and rescue some people. And 30 minutes after this, they did a temporary flight restriction that was ordered to prevent implementation of rescue over Lake Lure. And they kept threatening to arrest you. You get in that chopper to go rescue people with his own private helicopter. You know, he knows all the rules. You know, pilots do. I mean, they have to know a lot of rules. I've known a couple chopper pilots in my day. I don't know if this is pure evil out of Washington or this is one of those petty tyrant, respect my authority kind of things. This just reminds you that nobody is there to help you. This chopper pilot on X is like a 5-minute video. The Jonathan Howard guy, type in Jonathan Howard chopper pilot, chopper rescue. He's National Guard Special Missions chopper rescue, and he's just fuming at the mouth, telling everybody that people are, meeting their maker on the side of that mountain because the government is not letting him, super qualified, more qualified than anybody else that's, wagging their finger at him, to go rescue these people. Here's something else. In Tennessee, the Red Cross, and I've been warning people about the Red Cross. Red Cross has done an enormous amount of extremely nefarious things. Absolutely beyond the pale nefarious. Like, you think you're donating money, for this noble cause, and it's not going there at all. It goes towards some really evil plan stuff. Please, God, I mean, there are people that you can legitimately either help firsthand or people that you know that are heading directly there to help them. But Red Cross, if I were a billionaire, I wouldn't give a dime to the Red Cross. The evil things that they have done, confirmed to have done, are so off the hook. Anyway, Red Cross and FEMA, people are having a collection for people that are, in harm's way and need to be rescued during this hurricane. I mean, up in the Appalachians, it's really, really, really bad. There's a million stories, and an enormous amount of those are, where's the government? Where's the government? And, it's 5 days later, 6 days later. Where's the government? Nobody here. Where are they? Where are they? Where are they? This excuse that the roads are impassable. The same government that has the best life flight helicopters and rescue equipment that money can buy, not only that, an enormous amount of it, you're going to use that as an excuse? I mean, really? Are you? Anyway, they had a drive to collect money. Get this is unbelievable, but it's confirmed. The Red Cross and FEMA, they confiscated, it was at a local high school. The volunteers, all the money was confiscated, starting at Davy Crockett High School. They're taking over the entire school in Washington County and Greene County, but at Davy Crockett High School. And in order for anybody to get any donations they must be approved, so they stopped it and they confiscated all the money. All monetary donations have been taken and placed into a TEMA account. If you're unaware how that works, this means the items don't get used for the particular disaster that you donated it for, in other words, for something future or something nefarious. Volunteers were asked to leave. Volunteers trying to collect money. You know, told in order they must be trained in the United Way. There's another super evil entity. I mean, I'm serious. It's not my opinion. That's a fact. United Way. Let me get this straight, and this is confirmed. These people are there not, trying to rob anybody. Collecting money for people in desperate need. They need water and food and clothing. And they confiscated the money. They told them to get the bleep out. And they said, you have to be trained in the United Way method. People are warning to donate money to local churches instead because these monies have been confiscated by government entities. If you think the Red Cross is not tied with the government, you really, really haven't got a clue. Your head's been in a dark place. They cannot take supplies. Donations here, picking up donations this week. Picking up donations, taking them as well. I know several other places that are picking up donations and stealing them. I use the word stealing. You confiscate something, it's no different than saying you've stolen it. Can you believe that's happening? There are no-fly zones, people that are hyper qualified to save lives and rescue. You're like, no, you can't go out there and rescue those people, whose lives are on the line. That's not going to happen. No, we're not going to let you do that. This is confirmed. This is not some sort of rumor mill nonsense. By the way, this is happening in Germany. Federal police in Deutschland, jawohl, Damen und Herren, Frau und Mädchen, ja? They shut down multiple tracks at the Hamburg Central train station. Multiple travelers have been purportedly infected with Marburg. This is V2.0, if you know what that means. I'll let you translate that if you don't know what that means and you've really been away for a few years. Suspected cases of the Marburg in Deutschland has an 88 to 90% mortality rate as reported by Deutschland officials. That's all over the news. That's not some sort of hearsay or rumor. That's confirmed. Yeah, smoke in Atlanta. How many people are living in Atlanta? And you got toxic pool chemical smoke from a giant mushroom cloud just like 10 miles southeast of Atlanta. It's headed towards Atlanta now. Oh, the port strikes. It's costing right around $6 billion per day. I can't remember the name of the longshoreman who's the head of it. He has himself a Bentley, and he makes $760,000 a year. He's got this gigantic gold chain and this gigantic gold thing hanging around his neck and a beard. He looks like he's 60. I can't remember his name. His name is easy to look up. Just look up the head of the longshoreman, because they've shut down the entire East Coast and Gulf of Mexico. In his exact words in an interview, someone asks, what about all the innocent people who are going to be affected by these high costs, the fact they can't get their supplies, medicine, on and on and on. He starts screaming and ranting and raving, and he goes, I'll cripple you. Talking about the people. So this guy is making nearly $1 million a year. He's talking about... He says, I'll cripple you. Go look that up. I've seen the video like 5 times. That port strike is... There's already... The container ships are already back. They're just sitting out there in the ocean. They're backing up. They're sitting out there. I don't know what they're doing. Playing poker, parcheesi... I don't know, sunbathing on the deck of the cargo ship. I don't know what they're doing, but the cargo ships are backing up at the cost of nearly $6 billion per day. Absolutely unbelievable. There are confirmed runs on Costco's. I don't know how your Costco is, but I've read page after page after page after page of runs on supplies, staples at Costco. Anyway, people had asked me about these stoves. I've got a few of them, and like I said, I have where you can get them at in the pinned comment in the description below. There are 2, like I said, is the International, which will take 5 different types of fuel. They both fold up like origami. You don't really need a stove that takes 5 different types of fuel. The best one, unfortunately, is more. This one's 130, and this one, I think, is 170. The Dragonfly, but it has a simmer option. It will take kerosene, white gas, and I forget what else, but it also too has those little jets in the bottom, and they fold up like origami. They don't weigh anything. These are really, really great. You know, I have a propane stove, which the power goes out, my stove in the kitchen is still going to work, but a lot of people don't. They have electric stove of some variety. And to cook your cook your food, hello, cook your food, to cook your food, whoa. Or to boil your water for sanitation or whatnot. These are really, really great. Like I said, this is the stuff that mountaineers use that climb to, you know, Mount Everest and whatnot. There's actually a different stove. It burns super, super hot, super fast, and what it does is they melt snow to use for water, for drinking, and for cooking. That's a different type of stove, which you don't want. It's also, too, made by this company, MSR, because I'm pretty sure you're not climbing Mount Everest anytime soon. So you want these two other stoves, not that other stove, which just burns. It's only got two settings, off and super hot. You don't want that one. That's the one you don't want, unless you plan on climbing Mount Everest next week or something. So thanks so much for watching. The things that are absolute, and I didn't even mention in this whole video, what's really going to affect the stock market and a lot of stuff is that they have said that retaliation is going to be swift and hard and painful, you know, because they had 200 launched at them just yesterday. I didn't even mention that in this video. There's so much going on. Today is a Jewish holiday, actually. It's like the New Year, I think. So that's why the retaliation is not happening today. Might not happen tomorrow, but they promised it very soon. And their own words, the government said, it will be swift and painful, and it will be, I don't know if they used the word mind-blowing, but they said something along the lines of like mind-blowing. In other words, like, wow, look at that. What that will do to the effect of several different fronts, because the world's a lot more interconnected than you probably realize. Anyway, tell me what you think. I read every comment. There's just so much going on. Even if that stuff didn't happen yesterday, which was huge, there's a lot of really shady stuff. When the government is stepping in the way of you saving people and feeding them and rescuing them, you've got a real problem on your hands. And that's been confirmed. These no-fly zones, keeping rescue pilots out from saving people. I mean, what on earth is wrong? I think you know the answer to that one, and so do I. That was a rhetorical question. If you want to contact me, my information in the description below. Any donations also, too, below. Always warmly welcome. If you're interested in either one of these stoves, I've been using them for decades. I don't ever recommend anything that I myself don't own, and highly recommend, and they are awesome. They're so reliable. There's nothing really to break down on them. Essentially nothing. You got to really abuse them, and they have to be super, super dirty for them not to work. They're just really perfection in design. You can take it apart in 10 seconds with your eyes closed. That tells you everything you need to know right there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you later. Okay?